Hello. Welcome to this week's edition of our podcast, Tackling Debt with Emelike Ukpabi. My name is Emelike Ukpabi and I'm your host. And this week we are just going to be talking about living paycheck to paycheck. But before we dive in, I just want to talk about $1 billion debt challenge. And the initiative, while open to everyone, is focused on, reducing the black community's debt by $1 billion. That's the black community in Canada. The reality is that, debt continues to weigh heavily on our community. But imagine the impact if we could all collectively lighten that burden. We work together to reduce what we owe so we can free families to save, invest, and contribute even more to Canada's growth. Now, that number may seem large, but let's break it down. If 100,000 families each reduce their debt by by $10,000, we reach our target. And with over 5.4 million members in the black community in Canada, we might even surpass this. That's for the $1 billion debt challenge. Now, the topics we discuss here are designed to help, to guide, to empower. I'm not giving professional advice. I can connect you to people who can give you professional advice when it comes to your finances. But we're just here trying to, collaborate, come together, discuss our experiences, and see how we can collectively reduce our debt. We're still developing a community-wide tracker, to monitor our progress. We want to know when we've gotten to 100 million, 50 million, 500 million, and ultimately $1 billion. Okay? But you can start by tracking your personal debt reduction daily, weekly, monthly. Every small step counts. So let's dive into paycheck to paycheck. Now, the feeling where your salary hits your account, within a few days it's basically gone. No margin, no buffer, just waiting for the next payday and hoping nothing unexpected happens. I mean, sometimes, even before it comes in, it's gone. Now, this isn't just a low income issue. There are even people who earn well into five figures and still be stuck in that cycle because expenses, debt, lifestyle creep grow just as fast as income. So, if this is your reality, you're not alone and you're not broken. A lot of people find themselves in this trap, okay? So I want to just talk about, the practical roadmap to breaking that paycheck to paycheck cycle. Even if your income feels tight and you're starting from zero, all right? So why is the cycle so hard to break? Let's talk about why the cycle is so stubborn. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, every dollar is already spoken for before it arrives. There's rent, there's groceries, there's debt payments, childcare, car subscriptions. There's no cushion for emergencies, So the moment life happens, there's a car repair, there's that medical bill, there's school fees. You're forced to use your credit cards to survive. That credit then creates new monthly payments, which eat more of your future paychecks, right? And suddenly, you're not just living paycheck to paycheck, you're borrowing from the next paycheck as well. So the problem isn't just I need more money, it's a combination of high fixed costs, variable spending, debt payments that steal future income. No simple system for telling your money where to go, no budget. And often a lot of stress and shame, which make it harder to face the number. So you just, no news is good news. You just ignore it. And, it keeps festering. So the good news is that you don't have to fix everything overnight. You just need to come up with a plan. Start creating a little space between you and your next paycheck. Okay. So what you need to do, let's get clear on the numbers. Step one is uncomfortable but powerful. How much do you owe? How much do you earn? How much do you spend? Okay, we talked about budgets in the previous episodes, right? So here's what you need to do, or what you need to know at the end of the month. Your total take-home income. How much is it? You need to write that down. Your fixed bill, your rent, your mortgage, your utilities, your phone, your internet, your insurance, the variable spending, your food, your transportation, your subscription, your data, your takeout, small daily purchases, your minimum debt payments. When people do this honestly, they are often shocked. We talked about it in budgeting, right? Not by rent, but by little leaks, frequent takeouts, ride shares, impulse buying, subscriptions. The thing about impulse buying, you buy a little here, you buy a coffee there, you buy this there, and at the end of the day, when you look at your bank account, you spend $500 in a month, $400 in a month, and this is money that wasn't planned for. Okay? So once you have these numbers, you can go back to our podcast on budget. You create a simple starter budget where you give every dollar an assignment. Now, the common guideline is to aim to live on 90% of your net income and use at least 10% to improve your financial health. So paying down debt or building savings, if you can hit 10% yet, that's okay. You can start with 2%, 5% and grow it. The thing about money, they say, is you just start small, start building it up. It just, you can't fix it overnight, right? Now, you can also create margin, cut, control, or earn. So breaking the cycle requires margin. Money left over after bills are paid. The only two ways to create margin, which is spend less or earn more. So let's talk about spending less first. Trim variable costs before stressing about fixed ones. Look at the groceries, eating out, online shopping, ride shares, entertainment. Set small realistic cuts. Maybe you reduce takeout from 3 times a week to once. Maybe you set a weekly cash allowance for groceries, for personal spending. And when it's gone, it's gone. Press pause on non-essential upgrades. I deserve this purchases, at least while you're, stabilizing. Just press pause on that. Use that money to create a breathing room instead of more pressure. Then explore bringing in a bit more income. That's the other side. So there are two. You talk about spending less, you talk about making more, right? So ask whether you can negotiate a raise or promotion at your current job. Make more money. Consider overtime for those of you who have the opportunity to do overtime, a part-time role or a side hustle that fits your life, freelance, work, tutoring, deliveries, using a skill that you already have. If you have an extra space, some people rent out a room or a parking spot to generate additional income. Even an extra $100 to $200 a month combined with some spending costs can be the difference between staying stuck and finally moving forward. Now, once you freed up a little margin, your first target is a small emergency buffer, not perfection. Aiming for $500 to $1,000 as a starter emergency fund is a powerful first goal. So this isn't a long-term retirement money. This is the tire blew, the fridge died, the kid got sick, money. It sits in a separate savings account and you touch it only for real emergencies. Now, if you don't have an emergency fund and you have an emergency, well, you go to your credit cards. That's what people do, right? So why is this so important? It's because as long as every surprise goes on a credit card or line of credit, you're stuck in that loop of using debt to survive and then using paychecks to service that debt. You can automate this by setting up small transfer from your checking to savings every day. Maybe $20, $50, depending on your situation. Treat it like a bill you pay yourself so that you build up that emergency fund. Once that starter fund is in place, then more of your extra cash can go towards aggressively paying down high interest debt, starting with the smallest balance to or highest interest, whichever keeps you most motivated. Okay. None of this works long term without a mindset shift. So it's all in your mind. You see money as a tool, not your identity. It's there to help you live your values, support your family, serve your community, not to prove your worth. Replace "I'm bad with money" with "I'm learning how to manage money better." That small shift gives you permission to improve, right? Watch out for lifestyle creep. When income goes up, don't let expenses automatically rise with it. Let it, or let at least part of every increase go to debt freedom, okay? Savings or investing. The goal is not to become obsessed with money, but to get to a place where money is not constantly stressing you out. To wrap up, I'll just have a couple of bullet points here. We'll leave you with a 30-day challenge to start breaking the paycheck to paycheck cycle. So over the next 30 days, track every dollar that comes in and goes out, identify and cut one or two spending leaks, automate a small transfer each payday towards a starter emergency fund. Choose one action to explore more income, whether it's asking for a raise or researching a side hustle, updating your resume. You won't become financially invisible in a month. It takes time, right? But you can absolutely move from constant stress towards control. And that's how you break that cycle. One intentional decision, one paycheck at a time. Now, if this episode helped you, please share it with someone you know. Before we sign off, I just want to make a heartfelt appeal. Are you struggling with overwhelming debt? Are you feeling trapped, scared, or ashamed to talk about it? Maybe it's hard because of the stigma. You don't want to reach out to friends. You don't want to reach out to family, Please know that you don't have to face this alone. Please stop. Reach out to me today. My email is down there, Emelike Ukpabi1@gmail.com. And I can connect you with professionals who can help without judgment. Okay? And I have got new episodes, tips, and exciting updates coming your way. And I'd love for you to be part of this community. Okay? Please subscribe to my channel. And don't also forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's next. Let's grow together. See you on YouTube. Take care. All the best.